All right, so guys, right now what we're going to do is we're going to get ready for the ear. But again, just remember, our next step on Monday is going to be your hair and your shirt. You want to make sure your hair is not pulled all the way back in a ponytail or up in a bun if you have long hair. And then whatever shirt you're wearing, you got to be prepared to draw it and to shade it. So we're going to have to recreate our look on Monday, again, on the day that we shade it. So whatever you look like on Monday, you have to recreate for our shading day for those two items, the hair and the shirt. All right, so for the ears. For the ears, what we're going to do is, again, we're going to use plumb and level to help us. We're going to look at how the ears are aligned to the rest of our facial features, okay? Now, this can be, what I'm going to be telling you guys, could be a little different for each one of you, especially in consideration with how you might be looking at yourself in the mirror. So if you're looking down into the mirror, your ears might be positioned a little bit higher. If you're looking up into the mirror, your ears might be just a little bit lower, okay? First thing I want you guys to do, I want you to look at yourselves in the mirror, okay? And I want you guys to compare the size of your nose to the size of your ear. So go from right in between your eyes, so this point right here, go right in between your eyes to the bottom of your nose, and see how that compares to the size or height of your ear. For a lot of us, you're going to find that your ear and your nose are almost the same size. You can also, too, go back to your trusty old Post-it note that you've got divided up in fourths. Again, this represents the size of our eye. I have got my measurement for my eye divided into fourths. So ask yourself just how many eyes does it take to make your nose? Okay? So that's a helpful measurement to look at. So now what I want you guys to do is we're going to use plumb and level, and I want you to look at yourselves in the mirror, and put your 4H pencil right at the very top, line it up to the top of your ear, and I want you to see where does that hit your eyes. And for mine, it's just a little bit above this point. And then what I want you guys to do is then draw that line in. Go ahead and draw right through your eyes. And again, you might find, again, everybody's different. You might find that yours is maybe a little bit higher or maybe a little bit lower than mine. It all depends on if you're looking down or up into the mirror, okay? So I'm finding mine lines up right there with the corner of my eye. And then I want you to do the same for the bottom of the ear. Again, you might find that your ear hits different than mine. And again, that's all dependent on if you're looking down or up into the mirror. And you want to make sure, guys, you're consistent with the way that you're looking at yourself in the mirror on all of these facial features. Because if you look up in the mirror for your nose and then you're looking down in the mirror for your ears, it's going to make things look wacky. And then I'm just going to, again, compare this with my measurement that I came up with. I think that's a little... So we're just going to work on one ear right now, okay? If you have to, This is kind of contradictory to what I'm telling you to do with your hair on Monday, but if you have to, pull your hair back so you can see your ears a little bit if your hair is longer and covering your ear. So now what I want to do is I want to figure out how wide my ear is. This is, again, one of those things I think people overestimate. People a lot of times make their ears too tall and they make them really too wide because they see all the stuff that's in our ears, all those forms, and they get a little overwhelmed with it. So now what I want you to do, you can do this two different ways. You can take your 4H pencil, look at yourself in the mirror, put it right up against your ear, and figure out, just how wide is your ear. And you can go ahead and anchor your pencil right up against the side of your face, okay? You want to figure out, and you want to make sure that your pencil is sticking straight out from your head. Your ear or your pencil should not be on top of your ear or along your ear, sticking out. And you want to find the widest point. So once you kind of determine where the widest point is, go ahead and draw a vertical line right there to create kind of like a box to do your drawing in. And again, always remeasure. Oh, I think I overestimated that. Oh, I did. Yep. Always remeasure. I made mine too big. Really easy to make your ears too big. All right, so I'm saying my widest point is like out to here, okay? So now we want to start kind of like now breaking down this big space, okay? So I'm going to use, again, plumb and level, and I'm going to use the facial features I already have. And I'm going to do things like I want to figure out, okay, now I know how wide my widest point of my ear is, but where is it? So I'm going to try to figure out where that is. I'm going to use plumb and level, and I'm literally going to put my pencil right on top of my face when I'm looking at myself in the mirror. And I'm going to figure out where that is and where that's hitting like my nose, or how far away that edge is from my eyes. And then, again, draw a horizontal line to where that is. So this is where I'm saying my widest point is. I'm going to remeasure just to make sure that I've got it right. I think I'm good. I'll figure out how to fix it if it needs to be fixed when I start drawing. And then what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go ahead and start drawing this in. And any step of the way, if I feel like I don't, I want to figure out how wide something is, I'll just measure it off. But when you do your ear, you want to think about the angle again. A lot of people don't really spend a whole time looking at their ears and seeing all the little kind of angles that you have on it. You know where your widest point is, so you can kind of work off of that. It could be kind of hard if you've got hair everybody's got hair kind of between their ear and their head. So you are kind of drawing some parts that you can't see, but we'll fix that when we add hair in there. I just want to get something down first, and then I'll play with it again. And again, if I want to figure out how wide something needs to be or how tall something needs to be, I'm going to measure it. Measure if you're not sure. Now, as far as the lobes of your ears, some of you might have yours completely attached to your ears. Some people's is like a little bit unattached, so you can look at that too. And then again, just go in and kind of play around with your shape until you're happy with it. Can't draw it right until you draw it wrong first. And then after you're kind of happy with your outside shape, then you can start going in and start carving out the inside of it. And again, it's a lot like the nose in the sense that there's a little bit you can draw, but a lot of that's going to be done with shading because it's a lot about forms. Some of you might have this like kind of little tab. That might be a bit higher. And so what I'm doing is I'm just drawing in the edges and contours that I can see. The rest of it I'm going to deal with when I shade. Now, once you're happy with your ear, the one that you got, you can then trace and transfer this onto the other side for your other ear. And then it's the same thing with your eyes. After you get it traced and transferred, then you want to play around with it until it's something that you feel best shows that other ear. Because again, they're not all the same, but it'll give you something to work off of. Okay. So again, I'll show you guys how to trace and transfer. You can go back, use that same piece of paper you used before with your eye. This is actually, again, best done with a regular pencil or a 3B. And you do want to kind of press hard when you're doing this because you want to make sure that you're getting enough lead graphite on your tracing paper that it can transfer then. Okay? And then all you're going to do is take that ear that you traced, you're going to put it on the other side. You just want to make sure that it's lined up correctly. You don't want one ear to be high and the other one to be low. So you can even too draw those lines that you use for the other ear, those guidelines, across. To make sure you're getting in the right spot. So once you get in the right spot, tape it down and then retrace. And again, you need to put some pressure down. Now, if you don't have a regular pencil, guys, you can use a 3B pencil. After you get this traced and transferred, then again, you need to go back through and make it look like that ear, because, again, our ears are not all the same. And then that'll give you enough to play with. Alright, so that's how you do your ears.